Welcome back, Daisy Cakes. Today we're going to be looking at the 1968 Nebula Awards. Why? Because I am Daisy Ex Machina, the drag queen detective who investigates all things speculative in science fiction, fantasy, and horror. This is a game where I look at Hugo and Nebula Awards from days gone by to find an author or book I haven't heard of to add to my TBR. Yes, it is an exercise in nostalgia, but we find quite a few hidden gems. So today, we're just looking at the Nebula Awards for 1968. I'll go through all the nominees, tell you who won, read the blurbs, and then pick one to add to my TBR, not necessarily the winner. So, looking at the 1968 Nebula Awards, the nominees are Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick, Black Easter by James Blish, The Masks of Time by Robert Silverberg, Past Master by R.A. Lafferty, Picnic on Paradise by Joanna Russ, Rite of Passage by Alexei Panshin, and John Brunner's Stand on Zanzibar. And the winner is Rite of Passage by Alexei Panshin. Well, I think this is pretty fascinating because I recognize all the authors except for the winner, Alexei Panshin. I don't know who this is. It looks like I've only read one of the books, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, so we have quite a few contenders to choose from. Let's go ahead and start with the winner, which I've never heard of before, Rite of Passage by Alexei Panshin. It looks kind of trippy. Again, the nebulas are awarded by science fiction writers, so I'm kind of curious about what they picked for 1968. Let's go ahead and read the blurb. In 2198, 150 years after the desperate wars that destroyed an overpopulated Earth, man lives precariously on 100 hastily established colony worlds and in the 7 giant ships that once ferried men to the stars. Mia Havero's ship is a small, closed society. It tests its children by casting them out to live or die in a month of trial in the hostile wilds of a colony world. Mia Havero's trial is fast approaching, and in the meantime, she must learn not only the skills that keep her alive, but the deeper courage to face herself and her world. Published originally in 1968, Alexei Panshin's Nebula Award-winning classic has lost none of its relevance, with its keen exploration of societal stagnation and the resilience of youth. Okay, so this kind of sounds like a dystopian after the overpopulated Earth is destroyed. We're on generation ships, maybe? Or I guess it's not generation ships if there are colony worlds. So kind of curious about this one. I do think it's interesting where it says overpopulated Earth, because back in the 60s and 70s, there was so many stories about overpopulation. I remember getting scared that the Earth was going to be overpopulated because when you looked at the trajectory, it looked as though we were headed to some type of critical point where we could not handle the population. But of course, now it's just the opposite. Some countries have negative population growth. So anyway, makes it a little bit dated, but we're talking about colony ships and sort of this trial on a hostile world. I don't know what I think about this. Kind of interesting, but let's go ahead and move on to the other nominees. Next, we move on to Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. which many of you may just know as Blade Runner. And the stories are kind of different. So if you've seen the movie but not the book, you should read the book. I've read the book. I think it's great, one of Philip K. Dick's best. But even though I won't be picking it because I've already read it, let's go ahead and check out the blurb. By 2021, the World War has killed millions, driving entire species into extinction and sending mankind off planet. Those who remain covet any living creature, and for people who can't afford one, companies build incredibly realistic simulacra, horses, birds, cats, sheep. They've even built humans. Immigrants to Mars receive androids so sophisticated they are indistinguishable from true men or women. Fearful of the havoc these artificial humans could wreak, the government bans them from Earth. Driven into hiding, unauthorized androids live among human beings, undetected. Rick Deckard, an officially sanctioned bounty hunter, is commissioned to find rogue androids and retire them. But when cornered, androids fight back with lethal force. The inspiration for the film Blade Runner, originally published in 1968, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, remains a masterpiece ahead of its time, a prescient rendering of a dark future. And wow, on Goodreads there are over 500,000 ratings. That's kind of incredible. But like I said, I won't be picking it for this TBR game. Moving on. Black Easter by James Blish, and it says After Such Knowledge #2, so it's the second book in a series. If you don't know who James Blish is, his claim to fame is adapting Star Trek, the original series, into stories in anthologies called logbooks. And Cities in Flight is his other big name novel. I haven't heard of Black Easter. I don't know this one. So let's go ahead and read the blurb. Black Easter is a Nebula Award nominated fantasy novel by James Blish in which an arms dealer hires a black magician to unleash all the demons of hell on Earth for a single day. It was first published in 1968. The sequel is The Day After Judgment. Together, those two very short novels form the third part of the thematic After Such Knowledge trilogy, titled from T.S. Eliot's Gerontion, After Such Knowledge, What Forgiveness, with A Case of Consciousness and Dr. Mirabilis. Black Easter was serialized as Faust Aleph Null in If magazine. Okay, that is a lot. I'm going to assume you can read this as a standalone, and if I pick it, that's what I'll do. Not sure if this one is for me, but black magic, demons on Earth, an arms dealer, kind of interesting. Moving on to The Masks of Time by Robert Silverberg. And I do know this author. I really liked Lord Valentine's Castle and the sequel, Madripoor Chronicles, maybe. And we've seen him come up several times in these awards, but I haven't picked him yet. Let's go ahead and read the blurb. Vornan, 19, fell from the sky, naked, and landed on the Spanish steps in Rome on Christmas afternoon toward the end of the millennium. And for Leo Garfield, things would never be the same, for he is an acknowledged expert in the time reversal properties of subatomic particles, and Vornan 19 claims to come from the far future. Whether or not he is telling the truth, a nervous and edgy world accepts the charming and magnetically charismatic Vornan as some kind of messiah. Even Garfield and his fellow scientists fall under Vornan's spell. But has he really traveled across time? Or is he just a charlatan and a fraud? A compassionate and powerful novel worthy of comparison to Stranger in a Strange Land. Okay, well, I assume Vornan 19 is a alien or space person. falls to Earth. It does have similarities to Stranger in a Strange Land, which rocked my world in 9th grade. I am curious about this one. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one, Past Master by R.A. Lafferty. I am familiar with the name of the author. I don't recall reading them before. Let's go ahead and read the blurb. The golden planet of Astrobe, made in the image of Utopia, now faced a crisis which could destroy it forever, and yet no one could understand it. In a world where wealth and comfort were free to everyone, why did so many desert the golden cities for the slums of Cathead and the Barrio? Why did they turn away from the Astrobe dream and seek lives of bone-crushing work, squalor, and disease? The rulers of Astrobe didn't know, so they sought in humankind's past for a leader who could give them the answers. They brought to life the one man out of history who would most want to destroy Astrobe. Okay, so we have a utopia, but people aren't pleased with utopia, probably because there's nothing to do, so they choose to live in squalor. I'm getting sort of this libertarian type vibe to it, but I don't know. I'm kind of curious about this one, and the cover I pulled up, I really love this cover, but we're not playing Shove It or Shove It. Next up is Picnic on Paradise by Joanna Russ. And I do know this author because she wrote that radical feminist science fiction novel I'm always recommending, The Female Man. This was written some years before The Female Man, which makes me kind of interested because I haven't really read anything else by Joanna Russ. So let's go ahead and read the blurb. Hurled through time to a strange future where unseen forces clashed in an inexplicable war, trans-temporal agent Alex was given the job of guiding 8 very important tourists to a station of safety. Alex seemed exactly right for the job. She was tough, resourceful, and experienced in the hard, hand-to-hand fighting of Earth's barbaric past. But when she found what traps and dangers she faced in this gleaming tomorrow, even Alex began to fear. Okay, so we have sort of a Doctor Who-like character, trans-temporal agent, who is a tour guide for people, I guess, going into the past. I don't know. I wish there was a little bit more to hook me into the story. Let's go ahead and read the very last entry for Stand on Zanzibar by John Brunner. Now, I've heard of this book. I remember seeing it like in the 70s and 80s on the bookshelf because Brunner is the bees, like right up there at the top. But I never picked it up. I guess I didn't realize it was such an iconic novel. Let's go ahead and read the blurb. Norman Niblock House is a rising executive at General Technics, one of a few all-powerful corporations. His work is leading General Technics to the forefront of global domination, both in the marketplace and politically. It's about to take over a country in Africa. Donald Hogan is his roommate, a seemingly sheepish bookworm. But Hogan is a spy, and he's about to discover a breakthrough in genetic engineering that will change the world and kill him. These two men's lives weave through one of science fiction's most praised novels, written in a way that echoes John Doss Pass's USA trilogy. Stand on Zanzibar is a cross-section of a world overpopulated by the billions, where society is squeezed into hive-living madness by godlike megacomputers, mass-marketed psychedelic drugs, and mundane uses of genetic engineering. Though written in 1968, it speaks of 2010 and is frighteningly prescient and intensely powerful. Okay, so once again, we're talking about overpopulation, but I'm kind of intrigued by the world being run by all-powerful corporations, and godlike mega computers. Yeah, that doesn't sound familiar at all. And of course, this is the 1960s, so there's going to be psychedelic drugs. We have some interesting picks. I've only read one, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? So, of course, I won't be picking that one. But I think 4 of them catch my eye. I'm going to say no to Black Easter by James Blish and Picnic on Paradise by Joanna Russ. These other 4, Robert Silverberg's The Masks of Time. I haven't picked a Silverberg book yet, and I am curious about this alien that lands on Earth that's compared to Stranger in a Strange Land. I am curious about R.A. Lafferty's Past Master, this utopia where not everyone is happy. Of course, Alexei Panshin, I don't know who this author is at all. Rite of Passage. There's a lot of things that intrigue me. This colony ship, or these colonies and these spaceships where people leave and people going through a rite of passage on the planets. I don't know if I'm interested if it's like a survival story, but I'm not quite certain whether or not that's what it is. And John Brunner, Stand on Zanzibar. There's a few things, the computers and the mega corporations, that sound very relevant for today, even though maybe overpopulation is not. I think I'm going to go with Stand on Zanzibar by John Brunner. That one, I keep looking at the story and thinking, gosh, that does seem really relevant for today. And this was written, 50 years ago. So I'm very curious about the story it tells and the future it imagines. But what about you? What book or books have you read, or do you want to read from the 1968 Nebula nominees? Let me know down in the comments. And while you're there, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Look out for next time when I do a review on Stand on Zanzibar by John Brunner. Until we meet again, may all the books you read be